And we're live. Welcome once again to Quest and Quill Facing the Frontier. This week's episode, Something in the Mist. Where we last left off, the party made their way from the crash site, journeying back through the swamp, encountering the same frog-folk creatures, but easily beating them off, though they were somehow rather aggravated. And as they made their way back to the camp, the next day, they came onto a scene of horror. The entire camp slaughtered, with a dozen or so in the middle, their craniums drained and filled with a horrible, noxious purple liquid. And the party did what needed to be done before making their way out of the camp and retreating into the swamp. As they did, they seemed to be followed by the mist and encircled by it before they finally stepped onto the land, and a face and hands came forth from the mist, finally with a single hand reaching forward and touching its forehead, then going down into the water before sinking once again into the mist around it. As it does, the night is dark, cold. The swamp seems deathly quiet in the cold mist, which now swirls all around the party as you stand, the boat pulled onto a little clump of rock and earth. What would anyone like to do?
John looks around. Is this a good place to camp? Is there a clearing? Is there dry land? Or enough of it?
You could if you wanted to. But it's as good a spot as any piece of land in the swamp. You know, it's kind of muddy, kind of mucky. It's not exactly ideal.
Aslan, how far are we from getting out of here?
Too far.
So we should camp here for the night?
Aslan stops the boat.
Maybe there's somewhere nearby that has more cover, would be safer for us. We're might be a little bit exposed here by the water, especially if we start a fire.
Maybe I can track somewhere?
That'd be nice.
Hopefully in the direction of home.
Hopefully in a direction where we can safely sleep overnight.
He's gonna he's gonna leave the paddles on the boat and he's gonna step off and he's gonna try to track for a safe place to make camp within like a kilometer distance, I guess, or a mile distance.
Can I have a survival roll? As you look around from the little bar that you guys have stopped on, and Aslan starts to search, tired, weary in the late night, the mist seems to continue to move around you. And as you search, it almost clears before you until you find a spot What was your roll?
8.
8. Maybe half an hour later, 40 minutes later. Takes you a while, but eventually you're able to crawl through the muck and mud up to a little bank where a series of trees have grown and, pushed by the wind, seem to have fallen over, and they make a decent bit of cover, and seems to be enough dry ground that you could all sleep, make a fire if you needed to.
We anchored the boat, right?
Yeah.
I mean, what did you do to it? Because as far as I know, you just left it there. You said you put the paddles in it.
Yeah, because I thought I would step off the track and then
Is there
everyone
like
was still on the
a
boat.
rope or something that we can tie it to something?
Yeah.
Is there a rope like on the boat, like at the
Yeah.
front?
Yeah, probably.
Frank would have probably like stabbed the rope into somewhere with the titan or something, so that it would stay.
Then once we make camp, I'd say Aslan probably tears into his rations and then goes to sleep.
What everybody else
While
like to do.
Aslan is doing that, Lula's gonna try and make a fire. And then pass out. Whether she succeeds or not.
Frank is going to help her by making one of those smokeless fires again.
Okay.
I forgot to
Advantage.
do that.
John sees Lula trying to find dry firewood, and he struggles to his feet and begins helping her search for small twigs and branches that they can burn, dragging his feet while he's at it, looking tired.
For my survival roll for making a fire, I rolled a 7 with advantage.
With advantage was a 7.
Are you serious? Jesus.
Look at the chat, look at the
Yep, I see.
Okay then. That's a fail. You you can find firewood. It takes you a long ass time, even deeper into the night, and you pull up some wet, kind of half-soaked driftwood out of the muck, and it's kind of muddy, kind of nasty. You don't know how well it's gonna burn.
Yeah, and John only found a handful of twigs, and he goes up to her and he's like, "Here you go, Lula."
will do just fine. The heat will make the things when the
You gotta speak louder. Can't hear you.
Sorry, my bad.
Oh Jesus.
You know what? This will do just fine. The heat from the twig and everything. I'm tired. Oh God. Oh.
Saul walks up. That's not very good wood, is it?
It's the best I could do. Look, I'm gonna pass out. You guys can figure this out. And I
To
just
find in the
flop
dark.
away.
I don't think we really need fire anyway, do we? It's a humid swamp.
Yes,
There's a nightly chill. It's cold, and the mist and the wind howl around you. Almost as if there's small cries and screams on it.
Don't like that. I'll take first watch.
Frank is going to conk out immediately.
John's gonna walk up next to Saul and either stand or sit next to him, depending on what he's doing.
He's leaning against a tree right now.
Yeah. So John would come
Right.
over and he would be having his arms crossed and trying to close his thin coat as much as possible. And he says, "God damn, it's cold. Too cold to sleep."
Maybe you should snuggle with Frank if you can stomach it.
You can see Frank kind of like raise an eyebrow as he's just like laying down and he just
John looks over to Frank and he says, "Don't worry, Frank, you're safe." Not in a cuddling mood right now.
Okay. Frank will use prestidigitation to make your clothes warmer.
Damn, that's a neat trick.
Yep.
So what's he do? He just like points his gun at John or something.
No, he uses his glove for that. So he puts on his glove and he just kind of he just does like a hand waving motion and just like, for fuck's sake, the thing doesn't pick it up. But he just does one of them, and your clothes just become warm, or a cubic foot of it, I think. Yeah, a cubic foot of your clothes get warm.
Yeah, but how long does it last?
An hour, I think.
Oh, sweet.
Yep, an hour.
All right. So I guess that's like enough to cover his chest or his upper chest or something.
Yeah, I'm not so good with the cube with American measurements. You would know
Freedom
better than
units.
me. Yeah, freedom units. That's what I was looking for.
But if you like spread it out, John's a thin guy.
It probably
Yeah.
feels pretty good, I would imagine.
Yeah.
It would be
John
warm.
would be like, John would look impressed, be like, "Oh wow, thanks, Frank."
Anybody else?
No, Frank, I think it would make me feel very uncomfortable.
It's yourself, Saul. He could definitely warm up those old bones of yours.
I'll be just fine. I prefer discomfort.
Helps you keep awake. I get it. Lula?
Lula is passed out because she was rowing essentially the whole way through, so she's out.
Frank's just gonna like warm her back a little bit as she's passed out. He does it from a distance, by the way. He doesn't like actually go and touch anybody. He's still laying down.
Good.
Saul, remind me to buy a blanket once we get back in Tenton.
Well, I think we already have blankets. I took them all down. They're all in my pack. Do you want one?
Yeah.
Takes one out, hands it over. I probably shouldn't have held on to these. I probably should have handed them out a while ago.
Oh yeah.
You can see Frank just using his shield as like a blanket. And
Yeah, he'll go around and sheepishly cover everyone up with blankets. He looks very uncomfortable doing this. It doesn't look natural.
Papa Bear.
Okay.
Aslan, could you roll for initiative? Thank you. Go on.
You know, Saul, you would have made a good father. I don't know if you have kids.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Well, Lula, she's kind of like your daughter, right? Although she doesn't look like you.
Not really.
No?
Yeah, she's got a paw. Niece, maybe.
So you're like the grumpy uncle.
Guess so. I never had an uncle.
Family?
No.
Yeah, me neither. Just me and my mom.
Now that's more family than I had.
Yeah. Well, I do appreciate her. She's a saint in her own way.
She's still alive?
Yeah, alive and well. It's not even all that old. Younger than you.
Oh, okay. I'm
Yeah, she's
surprised.
been a busy bee from early on.
So why'd you
I can hear that so loud.
No, it's a real
Sorry, I
night.
tried. I kind of did that next to my mic to see if I could pick the sound up. Pour the tea while I enjoy this.
Must be gonna leak.
Sorry, please continue. Sorry, please continue.
Is that a creek water?
So yeah, and then I guess he just makes small talk after that.
Why'd you leave your mom?
Because of the calling, you know. I mean, she
Oh,
could work it anyways. She said, if I thought I could make a difference, that I should try. Especially since I'm, still young and healthy.
Gotta leave the nest at some point, right?
It's hard
Yeah.
to imagine Sounds like you care about her, so it's hard to imagine leaving something like that. But what do I know?
This drive, this pull, it's even stronger than my attachment to her. Yeah, I love my mom. I'd do anything for her, but this is greater than us, than me.
Well,
So,
you're saving the world, aren't you, John? Isn't saving the world, doesn't that include your mom?
yeah, it does. But that's what I'm saying. It includes her, but it's about more than just me and her. You know, this affects us all. We're all in danger. I think war is looming. War with these horrors.
It's I don't know. It's hard to reconcile what we've seen with what I know.
That creature, the one with the tentacles and the metallic shell, inside it looked like a ship almost. Weird.
It's very strange. It's alarming. I'm not quite as alarmed as you, just because it's the only one we've seen, and we've
The thing that flew overhead of us and to the village and massacred them, it had to be another one of those things.
You think so?
Yes. I remember that purple creature in the tunnels with the tentacles on its face, the one that almost looked like a man.
I remember killing it real quick.
Yeah. But
I don't remember. I don't remember it very well. That thing went down quick.
it was the only one of those creatures that spoke to us.
Didn't it speak to us more in our minds than
Yes.
with its words?
What I'm saying, that he was part of the crew of one of those monsters.
I guess what I'm saying is,
Because he was floating, right? Remember? And inside the ship, there were no stairs. It makes
Well,
sense.
all I can say is that whatever that ship was, it's nothing like I've ever seen.
It's an invasion of these things.
it's I wouldn't. I don't know about that.
Look, the thing that I'm telling you, the thing that killed the village, it was another one of those ships. They went to the crash site where the other one fell, saw that we weren't there, but that there was a battle after the crash, and then they followed. They tracked us back from where we came from, and they went to the village, and they got rid of all the witnesses or anyone who might have known.
I think you might be partially right, but I think you're speculating a lot.
I am, but it's based on things that we've seen.
Sure, look, it's
That
it's
none of this doesn't make
it's
sense.
very alarming, the things that we have seen, and I don't want to be dismissive of it, but these are not the actions of invaders. If anything, they're scouting parties. It might be a precursor to something that you're talking about, but I think if it was an invasion, it would be a lot more noticeable.
Well, that's what I mean. It is a precursor, a sign of things to come. This wasn't the first nor the last of these things that we'll see or come across.
You might be right, but I don't know.
There's more of them out there to have killed the village the way they did. Remember that tentacled monster? It latched onto Aslan's head and tried burrowing a hole in his head, kind of like how the villagers were slain.
No, it's very frightening. It's just
Look, I'm keeping track of it all in here, okay?
mhm.
But anyways, you're right. I am speculating. We'll have to wait and see and collect more information.
It's
Might have-
I'm sorry, Frank. Go on.
Might be smart to make a copy of those notes of yours sometime, just
No.
so it's not the only
No.
evidence.
It's too dangerous.
All right.
Because
So-
look, we don't know who our enemies are. And the less people know about what we know, that might be for the best just for now. At least until later. At least until we know who we can trust.
I think
We don't
there's
Mr. Ouija can help us. He might just be focused on his job with the railroad.
Mr. Weegan doesn't strike me as the man who will take these. I don't want to call them allegations because I know they're not allegations, but to him they are. He doesn't strike me as someone who would take it very seriously.
Indeed.
He's a good ally. He's a good employer, but I don't know if he's someone that we could rely on for these endeavors of yours.
I think he lacks the motivation to really help, even if he did take it seriously, unless it comes with a price.
It's possible that this is just you might be being too cautious. I mean, look at you. You know,
Yeah.
people think you're crazy anyway. What's the harm?
We can do it. The professor, we could use him. We can
Yeah.
tell them of these creatures that we found, and we can blame the destruction of the pyramid on them. That'll get his interest.
Well, I'm a little concerned about him as well because he does seem well connected, but everything about the situation surrounding how we found him feels strange to me.
What do you mean?
I believe if he is being used by the enemy, it's unwittingly. He's not aware of it, not consciously.
What's that matter if he's unwittingly or not?
What it matters because he has a relative on the board within Baygate, and through he is an entryway to catching their ear, so that we can pass on this information to people who can do something about it.
I would keep him at arm's length, use the connection that we have with him, but I wouldn't let on that we know too much because I just don't trust him. Look at the bodies that we found in that ship. Look at everything that we've seen. He's the only one that seemed to get out of that completely unscathed. And he was there for a while. He was there at least as long as some of them, maybe longer.
So you think he might have been turned, huh, or compromised, shall we say?
He was unreasonably protective of the pyramid, which was clearly bad.
Well, he was being drawn to it by its energy or magic or whatever it was.
Sure, but we didn't. Maybe, I don't know. I mean, were you pulled to it?
In a way, I could sense it, but it was
Not
also
in the same-
it was also
not in the same
over.
way, not in an obsessive way,
Nah,
and not a desire to protect it.
I was more unnerved by its presence. It was
He
loud.
he was protective of it. Almost, it was either very foolish or very calculated. I just don't trust. I just don't trust it, man.
Fair enough. Well, we can put a lid on this for now and think it over. We have time
Yeah.
until we reach Tenton to make a decision. Anyways, I best add some more notes to my book. Please excuse me. And then John walks off. He sits on a stump and he begins just jotting into his notebook, pulling his coat together, trying to keep warm.
I'm gonna get some sleep, guys. Good night.
Good night. Sleep well, Frank.
As Saul sits alone, looking into the darkness, the mist doesn't abate. John looks down into his notes, and as he writes, in the dim light, the words start to fade into each other more than they normally would, and you blink your eyes and try and adjust to the darkness. Then you look up around you, and it's completely black. There is the stump that you sit on, and besides that, nothing. Once again,
Tom? Are you there?
Saul, you hear You hear John call out.
Here, what's the matter?
John, in the darkness, you hear the voice return at you, but it echoes around you. You can't tell where it's coming from.
Saw, where are you? Where did you go?
I'll start looking for him because he's freaking me out.
He's sitting on his stump where he left him.
And he would look up.
Like I can see him clear as day right now.
You can see him clear as day, and he seems to be standing up. But what you notice is that his eyes are like blinking and looking around in every direction. He doesn't seem to be.
Saul's gonna walk right up in front of him and kind of wave his hand in front of his face. He's like,
Saw,
John, you're frightening me.
I can't hear where you're coming from.
I'm right in front of you, brother.
Where?
I'm gonna slap him.
As John reaches out and touches you, and as you reach out and slap him, now, Saul, you are surrounded by and engulfed in complete blackness, completely alone. Where you slap John, you hear the sound of and then there's darkness all around you, and you stand. The last sound echoing into the nothingness.
Saw! Wait, did John take the slap?
Yeah, you got slapped. You but I'm gonna get back to you in just a second because you get slapped and you hear the echo around and you feel the impact on you and you feel yourself falling and you fall and you're falling and you're looking up and you're falling to the ground, but there's nothing catching you.
So John feels as if he's tumbling in the air, falling into the void.
Exactly.
He would start screaming. It definitely a scream in terror.
Soul, you're engulfed in the blackness.
I don't hear him at all, do I?
No, nothing.
So is it just mist or is it like pure dark?
Darkness, void, blackness.
Okay. John, are you there? Anyone?
As John falls and he starts to scream, Saul, you hear the screaming go off in the distance. You turn to look at the screaming and you see John seemingly falling in place, or maybe just tumbling, lying on the ground, screaming. But if you try and approach him, he doesn't get any closer. And then you see something just beyond him. It's a face, shadowy face. And then it's a whole figure, seemingly cloaked, but cloaked in the same void darkness to where this figure's form just melts into the blackness around it. And it stands and turns its head to look at where John is screaming. You notice the eyes glowing, pale blue, almost white, cold light underneath the hood.
So would it be fair to say that Saul realizes that he's probably under some sort of spell or some kind of mind manipulation?
I mean, how well experienced are you with mind manipulation? You want to roll a wisdom check?
My mom was a bitch.
Give me a wisdom save.
Okay, that's what I mean. Is I was gonna say that I think it would be he might just try to be like, no, this isn't real, and just try to break the enchantment or whatever's going on here.
Okay.
Okay, so that's 13.
As you say, no, this isn't real, and you close your eyes and try and open them again. You try and slap yourself awake, and you try and
Can I use an inspiration point
around you.
fire?
I'm just going to tell you right now, you will most likely waste that inspiration point. I
Okay.
would not do it.
Okay,
But
that's
you
fine.
try and break out, and
It's just not working. Okay.
this is your reality now.
Okay, cool. So this pale blue-eyed figure, does it see me?
It's now turned its head and it's looking towards where John is screaming.
Okay.
I'm screaming. Help!
If it's not focused on me, I'm gonna try to sneak up on it.
As you move forward, its eyes seem to go from John and look up towards you.
Okay. I'm just gonna keep approaching it.
As you approach this figure, you hear, and John, you hear this too. You hear the sound. It sounds like waves crashing on a shore. And this figure slowly steps back, retreating from you.
On hearing the sound,
And
John stops screaming and he looks towards its source.
you can see this creature as well. And as you look towards its source, you see this creature as the mist seems to roll in waves. And the creature just disappears into the mists. But the blue eyes continue looking at you, and as you approach, you hear the same voice. Hold no closer.
Who are you? John says, rising to his feet. Does he notice that Saul's there again?
Yep.
John would spare him a glance and then like turn back towards the creature, and he's looking ready to defend himself.
Yeah.
With a hand to his glasses. Who are you? What do you want?
I am the tide, the darkness, the one who comes to engulf you all.
Okay. Saul's just gonna keep approaching him then.
And what do you want?
So as you try and move closer, you notice that you aren't moving anywhere. You're walking, and things you seem to be pushing forward, but you don't gain any distance on it.
Okay. Okay.
As you ask, "What do you want?" the voice goes, "Ah, ah, asking me what I'm here for. I just heard splashing in a puddle. Got hungry." And the mist grows and then shrinks and then grows and then shrinks,
Okay, and
coming
then
in
John
and out
says,
like a wave.
"All right, then eat this. Eero top!" And he tries to beam it.
Okay, you can shoot off the beams, and the beams blast off into the mist, and seemingly go straight through this figure's form.
Sweet. Can I say at least that the mist just like swirls around the beams?
Yeah, absolutely.
Sweet.
And then you hear,
John looks startled and he takes a step back.
and as you guys do this, a whiter, lighter mist seems to swirl below your feet. You look down to notice that this mist is crawling over your feet, and you hear a quiet voice go, "Now get gone now. Go on now. Come on now, get gone." And this mist eventually pushes past you guys, and you notice it now, like plumes of this almost thick smoke-like air blow in your general direction. And as it engulfs you, white, and you guys open your eyes to daylight. You feel tired. You didn't rest. You didn't sleep at all. You both stand in the middle of the clearing where you guys found yourselves, maybe 10, 15 feet from your allies. And as you look around, the mist from the night before still seems to be encircling you. with a small little wisp seeming to recede from underneath your feet. As you hear a voice say, "Are you going after them?"
John would twitch as he comes to, and he looks around, and then he stumbles and drops to a knee for a moment, and then he's like almost panting as if he was holding his breath for a long time. And then he looks at Saul, and then he hears the voice, and he turns his head. He says, "What? Who?"
Who's there?
Yeah, who's there?
"I'm just an old friend, but I gotta know. Are you gonna take our revenge for us?"
Can only them hear this, or can we hear it as well?
You guys are awake, and Lula, Aslan, and Frank now look up to see your friends talking at the mist to something that you can't hear.
Okay. Did we get a long rest, by the way? 'Cause
You
not
three can
those
have a
two,
long
but
rest.
Yeah.
The other two, no, you can't. Sorry.
Do I need to take an exhaustion level?
I'm gonna make you make a Constitution roll, but when we're done.
Okay, sounds good.
What the hell are those guys doing
Oh,
over there?
so they're just looking and then talking to the mist. That's what we're seeing.
Yeah.
Lula, I don't
No.
know, but we shall respond.
Yeah, I can hear them, right? Okay. Yeah, he'll turn and look at you guys.
The fuck are you looking at?
If you speak,
Fucking mist,
if you speak
man.
of the village folk, yes, we will, as long as I may live. And he
Luna
says
turns her
one
head.
last time to the mist.
John, who the hell are you talking to?
I think it's the spirit of the ancestors of the turtle folk, the ones lost in the village. They helped us. They saved us from some other dark entity of this swamp.
Frank will like lean over to Lula and be like, "Can you see anything? I just see mist."
To be honest, I see nothing. I don't know if they're high or.
I think it's
Now
because
you
you
all
can
hear.
look through it.
Sorry.
That
Now
was it,
you
sir.
all. Now you all hear a voice echo from the mist. East. You gotta go east to follow them. Ran to the city they did, the settler city. They have a hive down there. They
What
joined
the?
it. The
Hi.
mist swirls all around you.
Is that which way are we going to land? By the way, which way is that?
You guys have been heading north, back towards the mountain pass.
Okay.
And the river only heads north?
No, you've been heading up one of these like tribute streams to go back towards the mountain, like one of the small rivers that comes from the mountains, basically.
Will we be able to head east on a boat, or do we have to go by foot?
The main river goes east, yes.
Fuck yeah, we're going back to the boat then. East, a hive. It.
Can you give us any more information than that? Anything we can look for?
Great danger. I won't go about there, trampling through the mud like a fool. Besides that, I know that they got something great power that they're hiding.
You want to tell us what that thing was that attacked us last night? Is that one of them or something else?
Just a sliver of a bigger consciousness.
Does this have to be in a hurry, or can we go back and stock up? You've been on the road for a while.
I think it's headed to civilization in any way, Frank.
Not the one we're going to.
Well, he said it's near the settlers' camp to the east. We'll be able to restock there if we have to. I could really use a bath.
I'm
I don't
amenable.
know. Wait, guys, can we really trust this voice coming out of nowhere telling us to go east?
Yeah, I think it's the great grandpa of Chief Leatherback.
How
God's
do you
rest
know?
his soul.
How are you?
Because-
The mist is still there, right?
The mist is still swirling all around you while you guys have this
Okay.
little bickering argument.
So Frank will just look at some random direction to the mist and be like, "Who the hell are you? Who are you saying you are? I don't know who you are."
I am an ancestral spirit, indeed.
As Aslan finishes packing up his bedroll, he's gonna start marching towards the boat again.
Told
Well, I
you.
guess it's decided. We'll head there right away, I suppose. If it's as dangerous as you say, I suppose it'll be easy to spot.
Maybe there we can find evidence of what's going on. Perhaps we'll be able to get more help that way. We can only hope.
Maybe.
Well, thank you, ancestral spirit. We'll do everything we can to bring justice for your fallen and your lost.
Good luck to you. And with that, the mist seems to swirl around you even ever more intently. The wind picks up, and as you make your way to the boat, it clears the path in front of you down the river. And as you make your movement, it seems that all the forces of the swamp come together, that the current is behind you, the mist is out of your way, and you move quicker than you normally would, making your way to the great green greasy Delta River by the
We
late
take the
afternoon.
Foggy Highway.
Basically. And as this mist leads you, would anybody like to do anything?
John's gonna have breakfast.
Yeah. So, I don't know if he has any kitchen rations left. I might be able to make something.
You guys are definitely running low on rations at this point.
Yeah.
Have 6 left?
Sounds about right.
Yeah.
You guys travel once again into the night, but seemingly find a perfect place to camp along the river. And then the next morning, I assume you set out again, continuing east. And while the wind is abated and the weather has gotten somewhat better, that hanging mist still sits on you all and seems to guide you through the swamp until you make your way to what appears to be a small clearing, similar to the one that surrounded the lake that the leather folk were in, except this one seems to be unnaturally cut from the swamp. And on it, in this clearing, you notice a bunch of stilted standing houses, and this seems to be the first sign of settler civilization again. It's just on the edge of the river, and as you float past, you notice, some some children come out and start waving at the boat as it comes past, and you see another little farmstead as you continue along the river. And eventually, you find your way on the third day to what looks to be the outskirts and surrounding, fishing villages, logging camps of the greater city of Delta. Where would you like to settle for the night? As the mist stops along the river, and you guys are left drifting towards these little settlements and towards where heap and helping of light emanates from further down the water. The further than you can get in in the rest of the night, before it's reasonable.
John will point towards where it's like densest, with
Mhm.
the buildings and the population and stuff. Gonna try and find the most central area of this spread out settlement.
Okay. You can find your way to what looks to be a small collection of these stilted shacks, and they seem to be built partially into the trees, partially into the rocks that sort of outcrop along the river's edge, thatched with river reeds and these big swamp leaves, just everything to keep the heavy rains and monsoons out. And the folk that live inside are simple, a half-orc family, and they sort of see you coming, and an older-looking gentleman, maybe his late 50s or whatever, steps out and he goes, "Oh, you're a bunch of strangers. Haven't seen you lot around. Yeah, that's what you're doing here."
Excuse me, good sir. We're weary travelers. We come from deeper within the swamps. We've heard of troubles out here near the settlement, and we've come to investigate. We fancy ourselves adventurers.
Adventurers, right? There's no one deeper in them swamps except the wild folk. Are you them? He looks at Aslan. He is.
Hey.
Well, we were acquainted with the snapping turtle folk within the swamp, led by Chief Leatherback. Unfortunately, there's been a tragedy in their village.
Oh, some of the fishing folk talk about them. What happened?
Seems they were attacked by some kind of monster. We're not sure exactly what happens.
Right, well, you can stay in the barn if you like. There's warm hay in there. You'll be out of the water for the night at least.
You have our thanks. Also, is there an elder around, or a mayor, someone we can speak to who would know of everything that's going on within your village?
There's no mayors around these parts. We mostly just report to the city. We're he's not going to say an autonomous community, but that I'm just trying to think of how he would say it.
Self-providing.
It's like a suburb of the city. Like in medieval times, you'd have like the core city, and then you'd have smaller settlements around it, and then you'd have like hamlets and like satellite settlements. It's kind of like a satellite settlement. We're just a little hamlet, couple families. I'm the patriarch around here.
Okay. Well, please, if you'll allow us, we'll put our things away and we can have a more proper conversation. I guess we
Right.
the boat.
I'll have the missus make some thistle tea.
Lovely.
He
Can I
shows
do
you
an
into the
insight check
barn.
on this guy?
Sure, go ahead.
18.
He has very like rough hands from hard work. He has the distinct odor of fish and animal fat on him, and he seems to be pretty straight up. Though you haven't like quizzically asked him anything or specifically where you know he would have to.
I was mostly looking for signs of, maybe signs of like just being a little dodgy or part of this supposed hive, or possibly enthrallment.
You get the feeling that he's a simple man, loves his fish, loves his woman, loves his boat, simple as.
Okay.
You guys are settled into the barn, where you notice that there's also what looks like a milk cow and a small rodent-like animal, except its tail is long like a lemur's, and its ears are like nearly as long as its tail. It's a strange-looking creature.
What in
Yeah,
nation
What's that?
are you?
Some kind of rat?
Look, Frank, it's you.
Damn.
The thing at you.
I think Frank wishes he was that long.
Is there
Don't be
somewhere for
rude.
Frank to leave? Like, just where? Can Frank just walk out of the situation real quick?
You can walk out of the barn, yeah.
Frank
It's
will
like-
walk out of the barn.
Frank,
It's
we
like
didn't
it's like
mean
a
it.
stilted
Just joking.
I'm
it's
too
like
old
a
for this
stilted
shit.
building, and then it's rectangular, and the two halves literally when he opens the door for you, he literally like pulls off like a wooden panel and just steps it to the side, and you guys sort of walk up the ladder into this little thing. As you get acquainted, he comes about, and it seems that there is what I can only describe as a porch area, also elevated and with a small tea table, and you notice another half-orc woman with fair features come out and put some tea down. She sort of nods at you all politely, and then leaves as her husband sits down and says, "Well, not much, but welcome to it."
Have our thanks. You have a
Thank you.
lovely home and a lovely family.
Try. It's a tough life out here, but we survive.
So, I'm John Morello, and these here are my friends. Care to
Hello,
introduce
John.
us?
Grundle. Folks call me Grundle Fisher. Sometimes just Fish. Or Fisher. Smelly for sure. I prefer Grundle.
Grendel it is then. Now, John would lean forward and lower his voice and glance left and right to see if any, children are nearby.
It doesn't seem so. It seems you guys have been left with some privacy.
John would say, "Now, Mr. Grendel, I don't really mean to cause any alarm to you, but I fear that we might have reason to believe that the creature that harmed the people within the swamps, the wild folk, as you say it, it might have come over to these parts here somewhere. So I wanted to ask you if maybe you might know of anything or heard of anything, any monster sightings or any weird occurrences or people disappearing, anything of the sort in the area."
Well, now that you mention it, not some day ago, 2 days ago, a couple of the long polers came about, told me about a family that just been mutilated, he said.
Goodness, that's terrible. Where did this happen?
Just on the other side of the river, up the Black Creek.
Hmm. Do you think you could take us there?
Oh, I could lead you there in the morning. Not far.
Well, you have our thanks.
May I ask what you think it is? Do you think my family's safe?
No.
John went to open his mouth to say something, but then Saul goes and says no. So John just looks at him, his mouth slightly open.
There is a whole tribe settlement to the west of here got completely wiped out.
Oh. And he looks very worried about this, and then you see him look over to where inside the house towards where you assume his family is waiting, and you hear some like laughter of children playing, and he looks very worriedly back at you. I'll take you there in the morning if it could help.
I think you should move.
Got nowhere else to go.
Bigger city might be smart. I know you're probably not too keen on city folk, but these wild areas are the most dangerous spots to be right now, from what I've seen.
It's not like Delta's any cleaner. It's just a bunch of the trappers and and hunters who got enough money to scrape a bit of degeneracy together.
You have any supplies you can trade? Any
Food.
food, anything like that?
Got me dried fish. You looking to buy?
Yeah, dried fish is good. Fresh meat's better. How much is that cow? How much is that cow worth to you? I know it's a dairy cow.
He looks at you and he goes, can't sell Daisy, she's practically part of the family.
All right.
Children will be mortified.
I'm just
Oh,
trying
more
to
money then.
Listen,
If
I
she's
got
not for sale,
yesterday's
she's not
catch.
for sale.
We got yesterday's catch. It's about as fresh as you're gonna get.
Fair enough. How much do you think it would cost you to uproot, move somewhere else?
Rick looks around and goes, I got nowhere else to go. This little scrap of dirt is my claim to the world.
I respect that, my friend, but as I said, swamps aren't safe. My advice to you is to move, but it's up to you. I'm not going to make a man do something he doesn't want to do. But
You tell me to go to the cities, but it's not like it's any safer there. Been folks disappearing there for weeks now.
I don't mean east. I mean
West,
capital,
deeper into
west.
the swamps.
Wait, in the inner city, you say?
Oh, in Delta, yeah.
People have been disappearing as well.
That's what I heard anyway. Can't
Since
really
when?
trust the trackers and trappers. A bunch of drunks they are.
But for how long have they started saying that?
Rumors come and go. You know, it's been a couple weeks. Who knows?
Couple weeks. John pulls out his little black booklet and he begins like writing in it, like scratches out some things and writes something else.
He just
And
looks at you.
he does that for a while.
I mean,
Wait,
seems it's just dangerous anywhere. Rather stay here. At least it's my piece of dangerous.
Look, you have a point, sir. Saul, if what I fear is correct, then it could be that nowhere will really be safe. But what we must do is cut this evil at its root and find the source of these happenings.
Sorry for interrupting you, Lula. What did you say?
I was gonna ask to pull Saul aside and recommend maybe suggesting the Raj. A bit of a long shot. Maybe they can if they can somehow move from here all the way to the Raj, with the cow, maybe it could help kickstart some things in the ranch.
Yeah, I mean, I can ask him, Lulu, but it didn't seem like your pa was too keen on keeping hired help around.
Well, yeah, you're right. That's why it's a long shot, in all honesty.
He seems. I don't know. I don't know if I should press the issue, but I'll. If you think we should ask, I'll ask.
Hey, look, this is a last ditch effort, last desperation. Like that's the last option we got. I'm
He,
gonna,
he,
I'm gonna suggest it.
I'll be honest with you. The man seems like he's made up his mind. I tried to help him out. If he doesn't want to take the help, at this
Wait,
point seems
wait.
really rude.
You said Pa could take him in?
Really take him in. More like trying to provide a solution to this problem. Not the best one by a long shot, but
It's
yeah.
the
Well,
problem,
sounds-
Lula, is he doesn't see it as a problem.
No,
So
the problem is that he said that he has nowhere to go. If he has somewhere to go, then maybe that's a solution to his problem, right? It'd be at least one more option for him. I can ask Pa myself. Do you want me
go
to?
by all means.
Yeah.
All right. Please excuse me a moment. John walks over to like the corner, and then he gets down on both knees and puts his hands on his thighs and closes his eyes, and he begins to recite a weird alien incantation.
Saul looks at the fisherman and locks eyes with him, and almost it's like he's trying to keep his eyes on him so he doesn't see how weird all of this is.
Yeah,
So
John's
he
doing
already
like
looked at
facing the
John doing
wall.
this, and then like Soul tries to lock eyes with him. He like looks at you, and he like looks at John. He looks at you.
Saul
What you
shifts
doing?
as if to block John. He's he's a wizard.
Strange lot, you adventurers.
So,
You don't know
So
the
you-
half of it.
so suddenly, Pa would he would hear like a really loud drop in a puddle of water, and he would hear like the ripples of this water drop right along the surface of the water, and then all of a sudden he hears a echoing voice from a distance, which grows closer all of a sudden, saying, "Pa,
Okay,
Pa,
who's
this
counting
is
words?
John. We met
Pa.
once.
Pa, this is John. That's 5.
We met once."
We met.
Oh God.
Yeah,
Oh,
can you
God.
not do that while I'm like,
Sorry.
Okay, we're at 5.
I'll just cast it twice, guys. Don't worry. Yeah, now I lost where I was. Anyways,
Sorry.
Oh, we met once.
yeah, we met once. I'm with Lula and Saul. There's a family that needs shelter. Can you help?
A second. John, you're with Lula and Saul. I. Where are you? I can help if they're in need.
John would recite the incantation again, casting sending once more, and he would say, "We're about a week to the southeast of Tenton, more or less. There's a family in here in need of help. We'll send them to you."
I think that
Maybe.
gets cut off, but I think the spirit of it would get across.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Send them to the ranch. We can make space for a family. Send Lula, my love. Tell Saul I say. Beep.
Well, what do you say, John?
He said that it'd be fine, and that they'd be welcome. God, why am I so tired? I feel kind of dizzy. John, like, he puts a hand along the wall, even though he's like already kneeling on the ground to steady himself. He sends Lula his love. Oh, I think you gotta lay
Did he
down.
say anything about me?
He was gonna say something, but it kind of got garbled up. I don't feel so good. And then John lays down on the wooden floor, or the dirt floor, whatever it is, and he's like, I need a moment.
Aslan offers him his water skin.
Thank you for your hospitality in your house.
But
I'm sorry we made it a circus.
Right. Is he all right?
No, he's just dramatic.
fine, I'll be okay. Any moment now, the world will stop spinning, I'm sure.
I mean, you could have
Do you
some
have
tea.
any
It'll help.
whiskey? I could use some whiskey.
No whiskey in this house. Can offer you more tea though.
No whiskey? Damn it.
There's
I'll be okay.
Do you have milk?
He looks at you very suspiciously, Aslan, before saying, "Oh, I do, yeah. Lovey, a cup of milk for the big cat man."
He's Aslan. He's harmless. In a way.
Right. He looks up and down.
He smiles at him,
barbarian.
showing 42
Smile.
fangs.
Right. Looks harmless to me. The
So
lady
what-
brings you a cup of milk.
what just happened there is my friend conversed with an old friend of ours. He has a ranch. He's got space. It's relatively safe, safer than here. If you want, it's open to you.
I mean, I'll think about it, but I don't see me even moving my family. Where was this ranch anyway?
Northwest, isn't it?
It's like a day west of Tenton, right? Or half a day west of Tenton, I think it was.
So, yeah.
Where's Tenton?
It's northwest of here, isn't it?
On sets in the ground. Head to the mountains. Follow the rail. You'll arrive in Tenton. It's a tent city. And then it's a half day.
Saul's gonna take out of his bag the vial of the weird brain slurry, and place it on the table. He says, "So just to be clear, about a day's travel from here, a whole tribe of people had their heads burst open and replaced with this."
Saul, do you really need to share that? I don't think they need to know all that.
I think they
look-
should be informed.
Suspiciously at the purple vial. What's that?
My money says I think it's some sort of brain liquid. So they do something, whatever this thing is. It's a horrible way to die. That's all I'm saying. You got nice kids, got a nice family here. I just want you to be informed. If you want to stick around, this is a possibility that could happen.
He looks at you and shudders. All right. Don't know how I'm gonna get north of the mountains, but
Is it a question of
seems to be
money?
pretty serious. I mean, money's pretty tight. Don't have much around.
He places down a bag of 200 silver.
So 20 gold?
Yeah.
That's a big pouch. Jeez.
That's
He
a
looks at
lot
you,
of
Gus.
silver, Jesus.
Yeah, that's a chink and chunk and a change.
That's unnecessarily.
he looks.
Like, why,
He looks at
why
you.
is silver?
He looks down at the bag, and then he looks at you again. He goes, "Is this some sort of quid pro quo? You asking me for something?"
I don't often get a chance to do good, and
Right. Well,
I don't got much use for gold, so take it or don't.
You
But
don't
I
have
am
much use
quite
for silver.
serious.
all right. Well, sleep tonight. I'll take you up the Black Creek in the morning, and
Kindly.
I'll speak to
Uh,
the missus.
the only thing I'd ask is for our rations to get topped off. But the rest you can just consider thanks for your hospitality.
Right. You can have some fish for this. That's for sure. And he looks at you and he goes, You sure there's no strings here?"
There ain't.
And he takes the bag of silver. So it's gonna be a hard fight with the missus. I'll bring some
Good
food
more
over.
silver hill.
I don't think it's a case of money. It was her father's house.
You can always come back to it once things blow over.
Right. You want to talk to her?
Nah, not really.
He looks at you. Yeah, me neither. I'll send some food over. He excuses himself and heads back into the house. You hear a little bit of raised voice arguing back and forth. And then the woman comes through with like what looks like a tray, with some just carved out wooden bowls and spoons, and a big pot of fish stew with a very fishy salt, like like what salted fish smells like boiled. That's what it smells like.
Yeah. Good.
And she gives you all a sour look and leaves without saying anything.
Saul gives her the most charming smile he can muster with 8 charisma.
Like the gap in his teeth, like.
He's like,
I think he's got like
It's
tobacco.
like Sheldon when he tries to smile, you know?
Soul, I imagine Soul has a couple missing teeth, but it's your
It's like
character.
a bloody grimace, probably. is what it is.
Saul
I hear
gives you the troll face smile.
Very forced. He's trying very hard.
Awkward.
And you guys are left to sit with the fish stew.
John sips on it a bit. Is it like a low table or is it a normal table with chairs and whatnot? Or is it a floor
There's no
table?
There's no table. You're eating on the floor.
What?
You've just been given a tray, and she sort of like balanced the tray of food on top of the trough, and the cow is licking water out of the trough next to it, like eyeing this salty-looking stuff.
Okay. So I guess John just stays laid on the ground then, just like this, eating the soup as the bowl is like close to him. Oh, what's
nobody
what
else. It's evening time now. Like
Okay.
night. You guys have settled in, been given the barn to sleep in. If nobody else wants to do anything, we can proceed to the next morning.
Well, I guess John, after a short rest, he would want to cast Ascending. I guess first to his mom, just to have like small talk. He wouldn't really divulge anything that would like worry her. He would just say that he's out there helping people, and helping make the world safer, and that he loves her. And then beyond that, he would want to contact Mr. Weejan, and I guess he would say, change of plans. We need to head east now. Another one of those monsters is out here. Apparently, there's a hive.
Right. More monsters. Things have gotten a bit crazy around here too. The company's upset about the destruction of the pyramid. Not sure how to proceed. Repeat. I
John
can't
goes
type
says,
enough.
John casts it again, and he says, "Just blame it on the monsters. We'll try and quell the problem from here, or we'll try and quell the threat from here."
Right. Blame it on the monsters that nobody believes in, so I look crazy. When they already think I'm half mad. That seems beep.
Fuck's sake.
You know, John,
I get pretty tired.
maybe we should have brought the head of that squid thing along with us as proof. That may have been smart, huh?
Right. I'm sure we'll come across more.
It disappeared though, didn't it? Now that I think of it.
The body did, yeah. I don't know how it got away or who grabbed it.
Next time, for sure.
Yeah.
You got anything good for cutting off heads?
Got a
I
laser
guess
beam.
Aslan. Aslan's probably. I don't know why I asked you that.
Yeah. I think Aslan would be good for that.
But let's get evidence from Mr. Weegan then.
Yeah. Though I fear just a head alone won't be enough. It'll just be the head of some monster. I don't know how to prove all this.
Did
It's something
you
to
see that thing? Did you get as close to it as I did?
Yeah. I think I grabbed it and threw it down the chute.
Fucking nightmarish, that thing. I think it'll speak a lot louder than any claims we could make.
Right. Let's see how it goes.
If nobody else has any conversations, the night passes, seemingly without issue, and you wake the next morning to a hot cup of milky porridge. It seems to be sweetened with a little bit of honey and some swampy herb that has a strange minty-ish flavor. Pretty good. And then Mr. Grundle asks if you're all ready to go and leads you towards his boat, which is a skin boat, sort of like a flat bottom boat that's made with stretched leather, bound together by natural glue.
Thank you kindly.
You ready? Ready to go and look at this scene? I've heard it's ugly.
We've seen our fair share of ugly.
I'd be surprised if it's worse.
Right. Well, I'm sure you know better. He then starts pulling his little boat along. He leads you to the other side of this large delta river, which is a good 2-3 minutes crossing just the river itself, and then poles upwards, leading you towards a small inlet to the river. And you can see why it's called the Black Creek, whereas the river from the Delta River is filled with this thick green algae. The Black Creek seems to have this even more, and is filled with some sort of mud as well that makes the water constantly murky. And if you drop a stone, it sinks and disappears a second later. And as he leads you up, but you see more of these small farmsteads, some houses in the trees, some houses sunk into the side of the riverbank, others dug into it, until finally he leads you to a particularly small, what looks like just a sod house made from bricks cut from pure earth and then washed over with just clay and daub, and a roof made of same thing, just sod, earth cut into rolls with grass on top of it that seems to just grow into the riverbank itself. and he seems to pull a little bit slower as you approach this little house in the riverbank. You notice that the door is still wide open. He gets a little bit of a shiver. He goes, "Oh, that's it. I don't know if I want to come in."
I think we got this.
Well,
You can stay here.
it used to be the Cutler family that lived here. Yeah. Mother, father, 2 boys. The one boy was found in the back. The other one still missing. Presume he ran off into the swamp.
John would step inside, kind of like dragging his feet as he goes, peering around in the dark hut.
Pitch black inside. As you approach, the first thing that you notice is that the door doesn't seem to be broken. Doesn't seem that it was any sign of forced entry. It seems that it's just swinging open freely.
So you said pitch black. Does that mean people with dark vision can't even see very well?
So like with dark vision, even in complete darkness, you see dim light, but it's still not great. It's like it's black and
Yeah.
white.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, you got that
Sure.
lantern?
Yeah, turn on the lantern.
Yeah.
You can see Frank just, God, give us a little warning, man.
As you
was
look
dark.
around the house, initially looks eerily normal. The table seems to be set. Everything in the house is in place. It's a rather poor house. Only a single room with 2 like sort of bedding areas. One slightly larger than the other. Just sort of filled with skins and furs. There's one small table next to like a stone hearth, over which is actually just a pole with a series of little things that you can hang a pot, or you can fry a pan, or have a little grid, whatever you want. But very, very bare bones. Clay and wood cutlery, a handful of tools. It seems that Mr. Cutcher had been some sort of gatherer or lumberjack of sorts. Would anybody like to investigate or look around further or do anything?
Yes, I would like to start going through like everything.
You'd like to start like everything? Be specific. What are you looking for?
Gonna look through bedding for any like signs of struggle, any signs of anything written down, anything out of place. Just gonna look
John would
at the
say,
fireplace,
John would say,
floorboards.
search the place. Anything out of place. Anything that looks like it doesn't belong.
One
Lula
of
would
these
like to try
things
to-
is not like the other.
Yeah.
Lula
Make
would
your
try
roll,
to-
please.
It's gonna check like in and around the house, and then also like look towards the ceiling, see if there's like a hole in the ceiling or something.
Can I give
Frank
him
would
like can I give him the help action instead? So you just get
Sure.
advantage on it? Okay.
Frank would like
sorry,
to
Lulu, you were saying
investigate,
something,
like-
but I cut off.
That's right.
I'm sorry?
I was just saying Lula's gonna look for any secret doors, secret passages. Yeah.
Investigation, please.
Frank would
Yes,
like
sir.
to investigate around for like, because you said there's no signs of forced entry. Frank would like to figure out how they got in if there is no signs of forced entry.
Okay, investigation. Aslan, you doing anything?
He's probably following John around, just lifting furniture that needs to be lifted whenever he asks.
Cool. John, what's your roll?
Oh my god.
John got a 6.
You spend some time looking around like Sherlock Holmes. Things look like a house. Lula, what did you roll?
Lula rolled a 16.
16. As you look around the house, you're like, snap, bang, got it. There's a basement here. And you crack open a trap door on the floor and you pull it open. You're like so happy with yourself. And you look down and there's maybe like a 3 square meter room that has some barrels and some bottles and some preserved stuff in it. It's like, some hanging onions and some hanging like
It's
dried
just a
meat.
storage unit.
Just a little cellar.
Yep.
So what you're saying is we fixed our supply problem.
Well done, Lula.
Exactly.
We're gonna eat like kings. I want to go down there. The dead don't need to eat. So
What John does notice is that there seems to be this rack of tools on the wall, purpose built, just 2 bars of wood with nails hammered in. And there's, a saw and an axe, and a specific like hewing axe, and like a cutter and some pegs. And then there's two nails and 2 nails, but no tool. One is missing from the spot.
I was gonna ask, are there any rats around?
Yes.
Um,
When Lula opens the trapdoor, you hear a squeal come from below, but you don't see anything.
okay, but there's none in like the first floor or something.
Probably, but rats have a good habit of not just being seen out and about,
Okay.
Would you like to know what Frank rolled?
Yes, please.
Frank rolled a nat 1. So as soon as he stepped out, he just notices Lula opening the thing, and he'll come back in, and he'll get like. You said there was wine and stuff. Whatever alcohol is, Frank will grab some.
Okay. You can find what seems to be a clay pot with a wooden cork that contains some sort of whatever it is. It's strong.
Frank will pour that into his flask.
Frank, what are you doing? That's cooking,
Huh?
Sherry. Give it back.
You can have the rest. After he finishes pouring, he just gives the rest of the bottle to Saul. His flask is now full again.
Soul, it's moonshine. Aslan, what's the point of asking for rats?
Aslan is gonna cast Speak with Animals.
Okay.
Yeah. So he's gonna sit on the floor with his legs crossed, and he's just gonna close his eyes and start meditating for 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And once he does so, he's gonna ask, "Hello."
Okay. In those
little
10 minutes,
guys.
is anybody else doing anything
yes,
else?
yeah.
John, with your 6, you do notice that there is a tool missing from the rack, which you find endlessly curious.
Yeah, no, that John, he definitely latches onto that, and he becomes obsessed with that detail, and then he's like, "We need to find the missing tool." Then he begins like digging through the skins over the bed and stuff, and he's certain that this is a great revelation.
Frank, he's fixating on this tool thing. Looking at what's already there, do you have any ideas on what might be missing?
So there was a saw, an axe, some kind of special axe. What else was there?
Some wedges, things for splitting logs, pythons, things like that.
Okay, you said this thing was purpose built, right? There's and you would immediately notice.
Personal tool
Where's
stuff.
the hammer? It's missing a hammer.
Yeah.
Okay. So how many things are missing? Just one? Because it's purpose built, so it means that it has a specific spot for everything.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's
That's how you can
How many?
notice.
Is it one thing missing?
Tool.
And it's
One
the
tool
hammer.
missing.
Okay. So Saul or Frank will look at Saul and point, because I'm assuming this is for a regular sized person, right? So it's higher up. So Frank will probably have to point instead of like touch it. So Frank's like, "Look, it's missing a hammer. Like one of these," and he pulls out his own hammer. And
Yeah, Frank, I know what a hammer is.
well, then why did you fucking ask?
I'm not asking what it is. I was asking what was probably. I wanted you to feel included. All right.
Thanks.
Yeah,
And
I'm
he
never
goes
gonna
back.
do that again. Never doing that again.
Aslan, at this point,
We're all
the
coming
ritual is
together.
He'll call out, "Hello? Is anybody there?"
Who's asking?
Yo,
Ja, so you're not muted.
Ik ben nu bezig met D&D, maar ik kan daarna wel.
Me, I'm not a cat.
Ik ben nu aan het streamen namelijk.
So,
I'm
Ja, man.
I'm looking for something. Can you help me?
Waar?
What you want?
Did you guys see anything
Ding is, maar ik ben aan het
anything weird happen
verbinden.
these past few days?
Whole family left in the night. Pretty
Oh,
fucking weird.
Ja, dat kunnen we proberen.
They left?
Yeah. Someone knocked at the door,
Oh,
and everybody walked out, except for the one still in the barn. Wait.
He's gonna turn to everyone else and gonna say, they're telling me they left. No one dragged them out.
Misschien 10 minuutjes lopen.
ask them if they took the hammer with them. It all comes back to the hammer, don't you see?
En 4, dat is letterlijk
The hammer? Okay.
Yeah, ask him where the hammer is.
Okay. And he's gonna switch to the rat dialect and he's gonna say, do you know where the hammer is?
Ja. Nee, goed niks.
Yeah, we took it in the barn.
In the barn, okay.
Ja.
It's in the barn. All right, come on, guys. We gotta go find it. John walks out the door, begins walking to the barn.
Wait. Do you guys have
Oh.
any cheese?
Saul gets into his rations and gets some of his smoked cheese, where you can see where he's taking big chunks out of it, just like eating it just straight up. And he takes off like a pretty good chunk and like hands it over to Aslan.
He's gonna break up the chunk and he's gonna spread it on the floor. All right, this is for you guys.
They look at you suspiciously. It's not a trap, is it?
No, this is thank you payment.
This is great thinking, Aslan. As soon as they get close enough, snatch him up. I know you're starving.
One of them sort of hops over suspiciously and looks at you and reaches a single hand out and picks up the cheese and then. Not bad for a cat, are you? All right.
What are you waiting for,
He looks
Aslan?
at the
Do it.
others, and then he sprints away. And then a couple of the other rats come, like 2 at a time and snatch up some cheese. And one like snatches a big chunk and then snatches a little chunk, and you notice them running away on his fat little legs, like trying to get out there.
Okay.
They run back in towards the holes in the sod wall.
If we have any more questions afterwards, they will help us.
I thought for sure you were going to eat them.
Eat them? Why
I've
would I do
seen-
that? They're people too.
But no, they're mice. It's
Hmm,
fine. I'm not going to fight with you about it.
It's
Pretty sure
okay.
you gotta have 2 arms, 2 legs, and a head to be people. All they got is paws. Look, opposable thumb, see? That what makes a man.
Or a
I
monkey.
guess man and beast have different definitions. But anyway, what about what was it? The hammer?
Yeah, you said it. You said the mice said it was in the barn, right?
Yeah, let's go check.
All right, let's go. We walk to it at a brisk pace.
So
John,
as you guys exit out the back, you notice that behind this small little house, there's like a working yard with a whole bunch of like chopped lumber and what seems to be like some bits more finely carved out of the wood, as if Mr. Cutter was more than just a lumberjack. He was somewhat of a woodworker. And across this little yard, is what seems like a shed. And then the shed has a huge cover off where there's a whole bunch of logs and different bits of wood and stuff piled up.
So yeah, we get to. We start looking for that hammer. It's got to be here somewhere.
Now, hold on, John. I was thinking about why is the hammer so important?
Because it's missing.
Hammer is a very
Well,
useful
sure,
tool.
but I mean, he said one of the boys got into it.
Yeah, he said. Aslan said that the boy brought it to the barn. If we
Now, I've
find
never
the
had.
boy, if
I've
we
never
find
had.
the boy, we find the boy.
Maybe. You know, that's a good point. That's a good point. I was gonna say that even though I haven't had children, I have had an adventuring party, and they tend to just take things without asking.
For us,
Go off with them. It's not really that big a deal. I've never made a big deal about it.
Well, I'm not trying to rob these people, even though they're no longer alive. But I really just want to solve this mystery and get to the bottom of this.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Let's start looking around. I'm gonna try to give the help action to Frank this time if he starts investigating. Let me.
Mm-hmm.
so
Yeah, same.
Duh, triple advantage.
Are you going to proceed towards this lumberjack barn thing?
Well, yeah.
Little
Are we not
shed
there
in the
already?
back?
Yeah, I thought we were.
Yeah, you guys are sort of just standing around. I haven't, like, no one said that they're opening the door or proceeding inside or
We're opening this.
investigating anything.
Yeah, we're opening it up.
You open it up, and inside, you see a human figure standing at the far wall, but it's obscured by the shadow.
Is he holding a hammer?
Seems that the hands are out at his side.
Lula
Kid.
approaches.
Does he just stand there menacingly?
In the dark.
It's engulfed by shadow, but he seems to be against the back wall, not moving.
Saul raises his lantern to get a better look at him.
Yeah, that's what Frank was waiting for him to do.
You raise the lantern, and what you notice is that the body isn't standing. It's slumped up against the wall. Blood running from the nose, from the corners of the mouth, from the eyes, from the ears, down his pale form. A hammer dropped by the right, like on the floor next to his right hand, and the whole body seems to have been shoved somehow into the wall with so much force that instead of crumpling and falling to the ground, the body is just sort of held there against the log and the logs
he
and
just
the
kind of
tools to the
smashed
back wall,
into
smashed into the back wall.
Okay.
I've seen this before.
You have?
Yeah, one of the frog people went out like this back where we came from.
In the village, many of the victims, they were bleeding from their mouths and their ears and their eyes as well. I fear it's the same thing that's wiped out the village. It's also in this area.
Seems likely to me.
Clearly, you've done the right thing, ushering Grendel to evacuate. You may well have saved their lives.
Nice. Maybe he will. Is there
With
any?
that, sorry, I was meant
Okay.
to interrupt you, but I didn't. I didn't want to interrupt you because I let you guys go for a little bit longer.
No, it's all right.
With that, because we've skipped it, let's take a 5-minute break quickly. 5
Awesome.
minutes. We'll be right back, everybody. See you soon.
Thank you. Gruesome.
So there the party stands. The body of this 20-something-year-old boy smashed up against the back of the barn, bleeding from all of his orifices. The hammer dropped by his right foot.
Is there blood on the hammer?
Seems to be nothing on the hammer.
Well, we found the hammer.
It seems like he wasn't able to use it to defend himself, at least.
No.
That's what I was going to ask. Is there anything in the barn that looks like it needs fixing by a hammer? Or did he come out here to like?
I think he saw something, and
Yeah.
he came out here to check. He took a
I just
weapon.
want to make sure that's what happened. Is all. There's nothing in here that's worth fixing.
Investigation check.
And you have advantage because one of them is helping you, at least.
Yeah.
Both of them said it.
Yep. So I can't have
what you
double
can
advantage?
definitely-
No, I'm kidding.
No. What you can definitely notice about the barn is that, it's old and shabby, but he probably wasn't bringing the hammer out to deal with nails, considering how you found him.
Okay, well,
Yes, sir.
what was he using it for? Because I rolled a 23.
For 23. What you definitely notice is that the door, once again, wasn't properly closed.
I wasn't
You know?
properly closed.
And it definitely seems like, you see some movement across the floor, and as you look down, you notice where his feet were pressed into the hard clay floor. And between the doorway and the back of the wall, there's no footprints. He wasn't shoved along the ground. It seems he was thrown from the doorway into the wall by something.
Do we notice anything else about the room? Like there's footprints or like some kind of residue of this being that slammed him into the wall.
As you look around more and more, what you do notice is the boy's footprints. There's no other pair of footprints. Whatever attacked him didn't leave a pair of footprints.
Does he have anything on it? Can I check his pockets for anything that might explain more what's going on, or just to be thorough? If there's
As you
nothing
rifle
there,
through his pockets, you find a small woodworking knife.
Okay.
And you also find what appears to be some sort of printed newspaper picture.
Okay.
And it seems like it's torn out and rather crumpled, as if it's very, very old. And in the picture is a man holding a very large fish, some sort of giant catfish thing. And there's half of the title, and it says Delta's biggest, and then the rest of the page is ripped off.
John wants that. He's gonna try and be like, "Can I see that, please?"
Cool.
Can Frank take the wood carving knife?
Yeah,
Is it a particularly nice one?
John takes the
Not
cutout.
really.
He looks it over, and then he puts the cutout into his little black book for later purposes.
The only thing that's particularly strange about it is, damn, that's a big fish.
Real
Well,
quick,
it's the biggest of the Delta.
Were the rest of the family found already, or are they just missing?
From what you were told, the bodies have been found.
Okay, but they're not. They weren't found here. They were found elsewhere.
You weren't
Not
told
that we
that.
know of. Yeah.
They were found at the house, right? And then, but they never found the boy. They said they never found the young man's. But now we did.
Which seems weird because he was just in the barn.
Yeah. Well, they thought that he might have run off into the wilderness. I don't know.
Okay.
Right. So they checked the house, but they didn't check the barn for a body.
Yeah. Is our fisherman friend still here?
He's waiting for you guys down at the riverbank.
Yeah. So he's like, I think we should get some clarification on what happened here, but I do think we got a pretty good idea what happened here. Yeah.
Wait, so this body wasn't found, but then what did he warn us for? Because he's
No,
like,
wait.
oh, this is.
No, well, he didn't warn us. I asked him if anything strange happened in the area. And we're not done here yet. We need to see whatever attacked this place. We need to see where it went. Let's search the area and look for clues, tracks, or maybe some
These
marks
things,
left by one of those flying creatures as it landed.
these
If it's
these
like,
these things float. John,
remember, it
I
was
don't
shooting
know.
fire, so maybe there's like a burn area around here. Remember the huts were burning when we got there. Search for signs of fire in the area.
Fair enough.
So yeah, so John would begin like fanning out, and he's kind of like he's trying to hide it, but he's like dizzy and he's
Mhm.
kind of like not kind of directionless as he's searching the area.
Real quick, so I'm gonna cut back to our fisherman friend and just ask him real quick.
Mhm.
So to be clear, did the bodies of the rest of the family were they found here or elsewhere?
Well, there's the one boy they found in the back, and they found the parents down by there. The other one they haven't found yet.
We just found him in the barn. Did you
Right,
guys?
that was the boy they found in the back.
Oh, so the body, they didn't do anything with the bodies yet.
No one wanted to touch the bodies. The
All right.
family's just. And he looks at you and he goes, "No, I'm not sure because rumors travel quick around here, but the parents were found kneeling, apparently. They took them down to the church. No one wanted to
Good.
touch the boy."
All right. Fair enough. We might have to go to the church later then. All right. Thank you kindly. We're going to keep looking. I'm going to approach Aslan and say, Aslan, you think you can sniff out any sort of fire damage or anything like that? John seems to think there would be fires caught.
I can try. Try to do a survival check.
Yep. Or investigation.
Can Frank help him?
I was going to say,
What about perception? Is if he's trying to like sniff the air? I don't know if he has any
I
advantage.
mean, yeah,
If it's with
perception work as well.
advantage, it's an 18. The survival
Okay.
roll.
What you can notice as you look around is there doesn't seem to be any sign of fire or any sign of force like you saw at the previous attack place. Instead, it seems that the tracks indicate that the boys left out the back, seemingly in a panic. One ran to the barn, one ran into the swamps down towards the Black Creek, and you don't follow his footsteps much further, his footprints much further than that. But it appears as if the parents walked out the front door.
what do you think, Aslan? Do you think we could? It seems like the boy reached the river, right? Do you think it's worth trying to track him, or do you think we should investigate the area where the parents were found?
From experience, I think swamps hard to track, but we can try if you want. No fire, though. Not like the village.
I didn't think there would be fires anyway. Thinking we have John sniff around where the parents were found because it seems like something got a hold of them. That seems like his purview. And then once we figure that out, maybe we try to track this boy. Sound good?
Okay, but what about him? And he gestures towards the body.
We can take him down if you want.
Would you like to give him a proper burial?
Well, it's your people. I don't know your customs.
Well,
yeah.
it's not like we can ask his relatives what he would have preferred. Maybe the fisherman can help. I don't know what.
That's my chief concern. We could take him down, certainly, but I think we got more pressing matters than burying somebody.
Let's find the other boy first, and then we'll see what we do with all the bodies.
He'll nod.
Yeah. Before we do that, Lula wants to check the boy's body that slammed in the wall. At least check his head area.
Mm-hmm.
What does should I roll?
Does he have a brain like mush?
You can roll.
Rolling the. Wow! I
She don't notice
almost
nothing.
died.
She don't notice nothing.
Natural one.
Natural one.
Well, that would be a heal check, wouldn't it?
Yeah, probably.
I would say medicine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that'd be better.
Not like it would have mattered though.
I mean, a natural one
guess.
is a natural one.
I guess.
So you take some time examining the body, and you notice that the brain is definitely turned to mush, though it doesn't seem to be the same purple mush, more like it's taken shock damage. You know, like
Ah.
it's
More like what happens to a brain
like
when it
it's
gets slammed into a wall.
no, not at all. More
Oh.
like it's been liquefied. Like what happens to your insides if you stand too close to an explosion. You don't
With,
just get to walk away from it like a Hollywood star, but the shockwaves just liquefy your insides. Seems
With-
that the brain cavity has been turned to liquid, but it's not
I
the same
know-
purple liquid as before. And there's also no cranial damage except
I
for
know
the
that,
force of slamming against the wall. There's been no incisions, no breaking of the skull cavity, nothing like that.
I know Saul showed her like way back in like a prequel episode. He found something similar to lizards and he showed it to her. Would it look like that?
With the thing with the lizards, did you say?
Yeah.
Somewhat similar, yes.
Okay.
Lula does remember that detail from back at the lodge, and after gazing at the boy's body, at least what's left of the boy's body, she breathes a sigh of relief and she informs the group, "Okay, poor boy is dead, but it's got nothing to do with what we saw in the village. At the very least, looks like not like the village. That's good.
No purple liquid out of the brain.
Nope, it looks like the brain has been liquefied because of some shock wave that just destroyed the brain.
Magic?
Don't really know. It could be, but it's a strong force that liquefied the brain. Look, all I know is that it was really powerful that just made it into mush. Not like purple.
Probably
brain.
the same thing that projected him against the wall. Yeah.
Yes, like that. Yeah.
That's what I was wondering. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So that's good. In some
John,
ways.
you want to do your weird magic stuff around where the parents were found? See if you notice anything. I know it's a long shot.
What you want me to? You want me to try and see what's in the air or something?
I don't know. I just know you're into that mind magic, and everything we've looked at says that they just walked out on their own accord.
I'll-
Fisherman says they were kneeling when they died.
Where were they found?
I'm willing to bet 200 silver that if we get access to their bodies, we're going to find their brains have that purple goop that we saw.
Possible.
Well, we could check it out. Where were the bodies found, Saul?
It's over yonder.
Let's check that out, and then after that, maybe we can go looking for the other son.
The bodies are at the church, right? You mean the location where they were found? Is that where you want me to check?
Yeah, just I know it's a long shot. Just figure may as well see if there's anything left behind there.
Try.
Are you all right? You swallow a bug or something?
Just need some water.
Frank will offer him a bottle of something from
He-
earlier.
he
You want
Not
some of
the-
this?
has a
Not
little.
the moonshine, Frank. It's gonna make him worse. Are you crazy?
That's what it is?
Yeah.
No, I think
And
a
Frank will
nip.
take a shot.
Yeah, just a nip might loosen me
No,
up.
I need you to focus. You'll get it when you're done.
Frank is taking a shot. What does he taste?
Fire.
Fire? Mm.
It burns.
You can just see it. You can just that is. Ooh, that's strong.
Probably more fit to cleaning wounds than drinking, Frank. But you do you.
I definitely feel looser. That's for sure. Puts the cork back on and puts it away.
So John would stumble over to where the bodies were found, kneeling, and then
It's
yeah.
it's a little bit more than a stumble. As you leave the front door, it seems they walked for a good several minutes, and while the area is rather isolated, this little outcropping of houses is quite far from the next little outcropping of houses that you saw further down the creek. But they walked a decent mile, and not a mile. They walked a good like half a kilometer, something like that, into the swamps. And as you follow their trail, you notice that the trees are crushed and broken around towards where you're led into, and it's an artificial clearing where in this thick overgrown like muggy swamp where the trees are constantly covering over, the trees have been forcibly parted and branches are broken and whole trees have been pushed over. And as you examine the spot where supposedly the bodies were found, what you notice is some more of this strange purple liquid spewed across the floor in a great splutter.
A landing site. I told you. I knew it all along.
Is it the size of the landing site? Is it the size of like the ship that we'd seen before?
Seems equivalent.
Where John's steps were uneasy before, he seems to be like suddenly reinvigorated as he briskly like walks into the clearing and begins looking around.
Mm-hmm.
I'm feeling
Frank
good
will-
about my 200 silver, by the way. He points at the purple.
Frank will slowly walk, like he'll slow his pace in such a way that he will somehow end up at the back of the pact. But he does this like sneakily by just just making tinier steps a little bit, just so that he's like at the back. And he puts his hand on his gun.
Hive. Where would a hive be? Yeah. He begins like looking around for, I guess, just whatever clues, holes in the ground, a trail leading to somewhere else, footsteps, anything, an artifact on the ground, something else.
Perception check. Just
Okay.
look around, see if you notice anything. Would anybody else like to do anything in this clearing of broken wood and
Dirty 20, baby.
Hell
dirty
yeah.
20? What you do notice is, while there are indeed knee marks for two people, you notice a third set of footprints next to slop in the mud that looks like something was dropped there. It looks like someone was dropped, then forced to their feet, and then dropped to their knees again before their tracks walk off a few steps and then disappear into nothingness.
So there are no bodies here because this is where the bodies were.
Yeah, they already took these bodies.
Oh, they okay, never mind.
Two bodies, but there's a second set of footprints that
Third set.
arrived and then were
Third set of footprints now.
The third set of footprints. Does it look humanoid, or is it like?
Is it wearing shoes?
Yes, and in fact, they match a pair of footprints that you saw at the house.
Whose footprints?
The ones that ran off into the swamp.
Oh, okay, of the other one that was missing, because there was the
boy.
the other boy, right, that was missing, the other son.
So you think the boy ran off, circled back around?
No, the boy's been taken. essentially. Like he was brought to this place, and then he was taken somewhere else, but the two parents were left behind, and then that's who the villagers found. But they don't know where the third kid went.
Well, his tracks go running off again, don't they?
But well, Nick said that they begin like leaving, but then they just disappear, right? Wasn't that the thing?
Yeah, it seems as if he was forced to his feet, then fell to his knees, and you notice handprints in the mud again, and then once again forced to stand. You know, the handprints lean forward as if like crawling, and then forced to his feet, and then after being forced to his feet, there's maybe 2 or 3 steps taken, and it's as if the footprints go into nothingness.
John begins to recite an incantation, and then he begins to glow with a green shimmer, and then he begins to slowly float up in the air as he. I think he'll go up the full like 60 feet of his movement to take a look around with his 20%.
As you scan the area, it definitely seems like something came and crashed through the trees into that place. And well, you couldn't see it before. It's very clear to see from above. It seems that same force that allowed the thing to blast through the cave when it left in the last time. You notice the same marks of that in the clearing. All the leaves have seemed to be blown from the center. All the mud seems to be sprayed out, you know. And from the air, it paints a very different picture.
Is there some like big concussive force just like blasted in the area, right? Nice.
Yeah, exactly. It looks like the with the meteor hit in Russia.
Yeah. So John does like a slow 360, looking around the horizon and trying to see anywhere where might maybe could serve as a place to hide a fleet of ships or something, or a stronghold of some sort. Maybe like within a mountain or within a particularly a dense patch of forest, or maybe like a tall like mound, a big mound or something like that.
So from where you are, you scan first from the clearing, looking down and up down and then up the Black Creek around the swamps, and you see the canopy with flowing waves of mist in the swamp, and as it's muggy, sort of mid-morning heat. You notice birds, you notice small little estuaries, and as you look down, you notice the great Delta River flowing from where you came down towards where the city is. And as you are a little bit elevated, you can see the outskirts of the city. You can see smoke coming from where you know that the city of Delta lies, maybe a day east of you in the river.
What do you think, John? Mystery solved?
John slowly floats down. He kind of like staggers as he has to put his weight back down. And he says, "No, it just seems like there was definitely one of those ships, one of those creatures that was here, and they took the boy at least and left the parents for some reason. Maybe they saved him for later."
They got a mean streak to them, John, if you remember.
Yeah, that they do. But maybe from up top I couldn't really tell. I didn't really see a place where they could be hiding. But they wouldn't fall short of victims at Delta City, that's for sure. And Grendel himself, he mentioned that there were people disappearing in Delta City as well. So perhaps that's where we should head next. Indeed.
We're going to be dealing with more of these ships, we're going to need, right?
I think it didn't hear you.
Dynamite?
I'm afraid so.
Well, I'm sure we'll find a way to procure some.
I bet Frank could make some if we needed it.
Is it
Not
that easy?
not around these parts, but if we get back to 1010 or even Baygate, I could make as much as you need.
Delta's a fairly big town. Can we get what we need there?
Would Frank know if there's something there that he could use?
Delta is the third biggest city in the colony.
So yes, okay. Frank will say, sorry. So Frank will look at Saul and say, yeah, I think we can. I think the ingredients might be a little pricey, but we can definitely get it done. But yeah, I think my toolbox has been sent back to 1010.
So it's settled then. We go to Delta City. Oh, I can't wait for a hot bath.
John, could you maybe send? Wait, so I'm a little confused as to how the spell works for him with this telepathic thing. But Frank will ask John. I mean, like, could you maybe send word out to 1010 to see if they could send my box to Delta?
Your toolbox?
My toolbox, yes. It happens to also be full of Celestial, which, if we are short on funds, should help us acquire some more.
And why don't you tell him to go ahead and forward our pay as well? Because I'm starting to think we're just not going to see this guy for a while.
Yeah, I have the same feeling.
Good idea. But we'll see what Mr. Weejan can do for us. But I'm pretty tired. Can this wait till later, or do you really need me to now?
We got plenty of time.
Well, we're not at Delta yet, so we have some time.
Fine.
Hey, John.
Yeah.
John, do you think it's possible that that body we saw in the ship that was crash landed, do you think it could be of the boy that was taken away? Do you reckon?
No, that was the harder brother.
Oh,
It was the
sorry.
brother of the bandit that we fought and slew in front of the tunnel.
You're right. My memory's playing games on me. But do you think that's what the other ship is doing to that kidnapped boy?
Yes.
They could
That is
be,
a possibility.
yeah, using him as food or something. Who knows what these creatures eat? But if I were to guess, it's brains or something like that. But
It does seem strange, doesn't it? These seemingly evolved beings doing things like torture on their ship.
yeah, I don't know.
There's not really much point of it, right? They got mind powers. They could probably read your thoughts. So why torture?
Maybe that's an answer to which we don't even want to know. Can we not mull on this? I have enough things on my mind already.
I got an idea. I got an idea of how it works, but if you're too disturbed, I'll keep it to myself.
I'll listen to it.
Yeah, I need a break, please. And then John begins walking off to a quieter place in the clearing.
All right, Frank, help me with the body. We'll get it down at least so that folks will feel comfortable. You know, we need to go to the church anyway, yeah?
Yeah.
Is the church in Delta?
It seemed that he was talking about like a small, like communal church in the local area.
Let's bring the body to the church and then we'll head to Delta. Does that sound
All
fair?
right.
All right.
Frank's going to prestidigitation the body a little bit cleaner in areas we can carry him so we don't get blood splatter all over ourselves.
Good
Wait,
point.
there's no body. There's no body in the clearing, is there? Or are you talking about the
There's
kids?
one in the barn.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Barn.
We talked about giving him a burial once we were done.
So
You can.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say you can prestidigitation the body and clean it down, take it, probably wrap it in some sheets or something from the house, You seem to notice that the drawer has been opened almost as if some sheets have been taken from here already to do so with the other bodies. And then yeah, they're good for carrying. Sorry, John. What was that? I wasn't saying anything important. I was trying to move us forward.
No worries. So John would kneel and he would perform the short ritual again.
Mm-hmm.
And he would contact Mr. Ouija, who would suddenly hear a very loud drop of water. Bloop. And then he would hear John's echoing voice saying, Mr. Ouija, we've followed the threat to Delta City. It's in this area. Please send Frank's toolbox and our pay to here.
After a short moment, you hear, "All right, I'll see what I can do. I'll have it sent with the next train going south."
Thank you. Yeah, it goes away. And that's it. And then John goes back to the party, and I guess we would it would make sense for us to like take the body and bring it to our canoe, right? And then we would take the canoe down the river to Delta City, going east.
Okay. Well, Mr. Grundle is still waiting for you.
Yeah. Well, Mr. Grendel would take us back to his place where our canoe is, right?
Okay. Yeah. You guys aren't heading to the church?
We're definitely heading to the church.
The church is like on the same bank that we're on.
It's the Black Creek Church. It's this little community, this little hamlet, this little set like cluster of houses has their
Yeah.
like local little parish, you know.
Yeah, we will definitely go to the church. I think John misunderstood what
Kyle,
the church was.
Yeah, sorry.
You're cutting out a bit.
Okay.
You're cutting out. I didn't hear what you said.
No, I said.
No, I was just saying. Oh, okay. Like, now I understand.
Okay.
Yeah, you misunderstood where the church was, but no, we're going to the church.
Yeah, we're good. So while we're dealing with the body, Saul's talking about what he thinks is going on.
Yep.
He's like, "Yeah, I think it's a shame John doesn't want to hear about it because I'd love to hear what he has to say about it." But
What, are we not good enough for you? He says as he's like cleaning the
oh
body.
no, it's just more his purview, you know. Like normally I won't even think about this stuff, but ever since the other night, you know, it's kind of making the gears turn a little. But the whole thing is like mental energy. Like everything about them has to do with like some sort of weird mentalist bullshit.
Yep.
And you know, between you and me, I know a thing or two about torture, and I'm just wondering.
Hmm.
I'm just wondering why they would even bother with something like that. If they didn't
Well,
need to. And then it makes me think like, what if that's what they use to power their ships? Just
an interesting theory.
the resonant psychic energy that comes from torturing someone.
It's an interesting theory, but it seems there's I think there's a couple of holes with that. Like that,
Yep.
there's a couple of things that don't make sense.
Like what?
Well, wouldn't they take more people? Well, how much psychic energy can you really get from one or two subjects, right?
I don't
They haven't been massively abducting people, and up until we went and fucked with that pyramid, there wasn't much going on.
I just wonder, maybe a little bit goes a long way. And there definitely seems to be more disappearances happening.
Hmm.
Also,
But-
I'm wondering how long it's been going on. I'm wondering if they're ramping up since we managed to destroy one. You know what I mean?
I get you.
Maybe they didn't need to move this much until somebody broke one of their toys.
That's true.
We lit a fire under it.
It's a lot harder to make production maintain production when one of your factories gets burned down.
Too bad John's too scared. I bet he'd have some interesting ideas.
Hold on, a question here, though. Where are we having this conversation? Are we like walking to the church? Or are we?
I think
This is while we're getting the body.
yeah, in my head canon, this is like you went off to do the sending, which takes like 10, 20 minutes. And then this is us talking over the
It's like fast. It's like 5 minutes, right? It's just it's a 6-second casting, and then
Okay, I thought you said it was a ritual casting.
no.
As far as I understood it,
because he like kneels down on the ground and puts his hands on his eyes and closes his eyes and.
Okay, that's fine. I just whenever I heard ritual, I was
Yeah,
thinking, oh,
yeah, I get that. But I think John would like stay outside, right? Because he didn't want to be a part of this conversation. And
if you want to overhear it, I'm down for that. That sounds awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind that at all. But like, that's what we're talking about when we're cleaning the body, basically, and like getting the body out of there.
Yeah,
it's okay.
I was just to hear the tail end of it. That's cool.
Yeah, no, I was just wondering if it was happening like on the canoe or something.
No.
No, we're not having this in front of your face. That would be.
Yeah, that would be mean. That would be so very mean.
That'd be socially inept as hell.
It's saying John doesn't want to talk about this. Meanwhile, John's like 2 feet behind him.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I'm just.
No, I'm kidding.
John's not there.
I'm just saying, even if the ship's being powered by the psychic remnants of torture wasn't canon, shit, that's a fucking good idea. Why didn't I think of that? It is now.
Yeah, I figured. As soon as Nate said it, I was like, I looked at your face, and your face was like, I'm gonna steal that. Write that down.
Damn, that's a better idea than I had.
There, he would have to say, he would look at Saul and be like, "You got a fucked up mind, man. What's wrong with you?"
Does he say that or?
No, he's not there.
Oh, he's not there. Okay, that's fine.
I mean, he could just walk into the barn while he finishes dinner.
Yeah, I mean,
hear it.
He
I'm down
walked
for the roleplay session, man. That
at
sounds
the
great.
tail end of that whole conversation, and then that's what he says. But what's wrong with you, Saul? Why would you even think something like that? God, don't we have enough nightmares?
All right, Saul. I think you were wrong about wanting him to be a part of this conversation.
Well, no, I mean, we don't choose our enemies, do we?
Sometimes you can.
Sometimes.
So who's helping Saul carry the body? Because Frank sure as hell ain't.
No, Frank is the one that cleaned
John,
it.
help me out with this. He's been no help at all since we got it down.
What? Who?
Lula can.
Fine. I'll grab his
You
leg.
can call Lula in if you don't have the stomach for it.
No, it's okay. I should do this.
Lula did volunteer.
Oh, is she here?
Yeah.
I mean,
Lutando, you're just a little bit slow, so like you gotta give your mic a second to catch up and then talk more clearly, I think. Because I'm hearing like the tail end of everything you're saying.
yeah.
I see.
I can see the difference in your mouth moving and the sound coming into my
That's
ears.
the problem.
I don't know if it's delay or if your mic is just not picking up the first half of what you're saying.
It's a bit of delay.
Yeah.
Delay.
So what were you saying? Sorry.
He's just gonna say, Lula, you know what? I'm tired. If you want to take the other end of this.
All
Wait,
right, Mr. Leatherman. I can do it.
Thank you kindly.
All right, I'll grab
Okay.
his leg. You get his arms, Lula.
Go
You
there.
guys carry the body down to the boat, and Mr. Grendel is sitting there like a little bit perturbed, and he goes, "I'm going to take him down to the church too."
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, the body's wrapped in a sheet, right?
Yeah, he knows what it is though. He's
I mean, he's not an idiot.
he shudders a little bit, you know.
I'm just saying it'll be less disturbing that way.
Yeah, that's true.
You notice him make a sign of Pelor.
Huh.
I'll
Interesting.
tell you something, friend. As soon as we're done here, I think that you should probably try to get out of here as fast as you can towards that ranch, because we're seeing a lot of the same stuff. And this is right in your front door.
Yeah, we've confirmed.
Considering it.
We've confirmed our suspicions. The creature that wiped out the swamp village is also here. It's what killed these good people. These poor folk.
Right. It's definitely high on my priority list now.
Good then. Let's make haste to the church.
He paddles you somewhat a little bit further down the river towards where you notice that the cluster of houses grows a little bit thicker. And in the middle of this cluster of houses, on what seems to be like the one actual little mound of dirt that rises out of these, like the swampy muck. It's barely even just water. It's thick and viscous at this point. And on this one little mound that rises up out of it is a small circular building with a cross of Pelor outside it. And it's rather shabby, though little bit more can be expected in such parts. Saul, these buildings are very, very familiar to you. It's a mission station, built as much for defense as it is to be a religious site.
He's gonna like push his hat a little bit lower
Mm-hmm.
and you say, Aslan, Lula, you mind? Well, I gotta go in anyway. All right, let's do this. Yeah, we'll bring the body in.
Okay, so
You guys, do you knock at the door, or do you just open the door and march right in?
I mean, is
Frank
it
knocks.
like a church or is it like an actual like we're expected? It's I guess what I'm asking is, our missions typically, are they like open to everybody, or is it like?
So like I say, a mission statement is built like a mission station is built like a blockhouse.
Yeah, okay.
It's a small round stone building with
Right.
like a bit of a fence around it and stuff like that. But there are like flat windows that could just as easily be shot out of as they could let in light for the Sunday service.
John, everybody, before we go in.
You're cutting out, bro. Put your mic closer
What?
to your mouth.
John, everybody, I'm gonna go back to being mute here in a minute. You do
That's-
the talking. All I need
that's
to
fair
do
enough.
is get a good look at the bodies. All right.
That's fair enough.
All right.
got it.
Knock on the door.
Yeah. Hello.
Frank will look at Lula. To do the talking.
Greetings, greetings. We come here with a body, and we would like you to. We come here with the body, and we'd like to inspect some bodies, please.
There's a family that has been
I am.
given an end too early. We were told that the parents were in here. We have brought the body of one of the boys so that they can be buried together.
I'm coming. And then you hear some shuffling inside, and then you hear a loud metal as this door is opened, and you see a slim, stickly figure in orange Pelor robes of the Church of Pelor. He looks and goes, "Well, how could I help y'all?" And he
Can you
looks
not
at the
hear
body
what
you're
I said?
carrying. No, he knows what you said, but he looks at the body and he goes, "You won't bring him inside?"
Well,
I guess
we don't know how they would like to be buried or anything like that. Would any of you maybe have an idea of what they would have wanted to be done to their bodies after their demise?
Is that the Cutter boy?
Frank will look at the others.
yes,
It
sir.
is.
Nods. Well, they were always at my Sunday parish, so they can come inside.
Thank you, sir. Well, we'll go
Right.
inside.
He sort of points at like sort of somewhere between an altar and a table across where the services are done. He goes, "Y'all could put the body over there."
And Father, thank you. But not to be rude, but would it be okay if we can inspect the boys' parents, their bodies in particular? There's something afoot, and we want to confirm suspicions.
May I ask what you need to do that for?
Lula looks at John to try explain his bit of a cheat.
John says, we're investigating this family's death. We found that this other body within the barn and brought it over here so that they could be together, at least in the afterlife. But beyond that, we have reason to believe that there is something dangerous out there hurting people, and we need to confirm that that these people, these poor folk, fell victim to the same thing. If
He
you would be
looks
so kind.
he looks around suspiciously at all of you and shudders a little bit, and then says, "Well, you ain't the first folks to come looking. Uh, bodies were
Where
sent out this morning.
To where?
Delta."
By whom?
He looks around at all you. Goes, "The Inquisitors. They said they had to examine them for their own reasons."
any and any idea of where the other son may have went?
Look, he looks around at you. Goes, "I'm glad you brought him in. He was a good boy. I hope his brother's safe."
His brother has been abducted. I'm afraid we're searching for him too.
Well, I wish I could help you more, but I I let them take the bodies this morning.
Perhaps we'll need to speak with the Inquisition then.
Saul's gonna take out its
I should grab the button.
slate and pull John aside. And
Yeah. Is this all?
he's gonna like make a show of like it's gonna sound like he's like etching in his slate, but he's just gonna be whispering over to John. You need to convince this fella to let people take refuge in the mission.
When? For how long?
It's the church, they'll be fine.
All right, I'll see what I can do. So, sir, so I don't know if you're aware of this, but this family here, these poor folk, they're only the first of many victims to come. There was a village to the west of here, deep within the swamp, of turtle folk, the wild people. They were killed by the same monster in the same way as this family.
He sort
Or
of looks at you, and a shudder goes down his spine as you're saying this. He's like,
yeah, and there's more of where it came from. We've killed one of these monsters, but there's no saying how many there are. I would like to beg of you that you allow the local townsfolk to take refuge here within the mission statement, within your chapel, at least until things are safer.
"I can do that, but you say more is coming. I just just 1 second. I need to just 1 second. Sorry." And then he heads to a small back room. And after about a minute, he will be back. You gotta give me 1 second. I'm gonna be back with you.
Impressive.
Oh heck! Now we have a guitar for a DM.
Oh yeah.
Saul is gonna like try to hide in plain sight here in a second. Like as soon as he gets back, he's probably gonna do like that thing where you like light candles or something with his back turned, like Hitman or something.
Right?
Blend in.
walks back, interrupting you.
What's that? Are we back?
Yep.
Sorry,
Okay.
yeah.
Before he gets back, Saul is gonna like make sure his back is like to the this room or whatever, and if there's like a place where he can like light candles or that thing the Catholics do,
Yeah.
so that
Well,
he can
the
just
Church of
kind of.
Pillow does that too.
I'm sorry.
The Church of Pillow lights candles too. It's an important part of
I figured it
your
was
faith.
probably
This,
so.
yeah.
He's gonna do that. It's his attempt to try to like blend in and not draw attention to himself.
Mhm.
If you'll allow me to do a stealth roll for that, I'll even take it at disadvantage if I need to.
I don't think you need to. For what you're doing, it makes sense. It's not like the parish is very big, and once he leaves, you guys are the only people in there effectively.
Okay.
Sorry, when I left, I meant for everybody to just role play talking amongst yourselves while he was out of the room, but that's okay. He comes back inside, and you notice a bead of sweat on his forehead. And he seems to talk to you in a more hurried manner. Now, I don't know what y'all heard, but I was told to not let the people panic. This was just a strange cultist activity.
Saul's gonna look back over at John, and he's gonna motion him over.
So John, he takes a deep breath. My good man, if you really go that route and innocent people die, know that their blood will be on your hands. Their deaths will be your fault, because we have warned you of what's to come.
Now, I don't know what type of doomsday panic folk you are, but if you will leave that body and make your way, please. I have work to do.
Fine. I guess we have to leave then.
Okay.
But we did what we could. Just remember that we warned you. And John goes to walk out.
He says, and if
Amazing.
I were you, I wouldn't take the story any further. And don't let me say I haven't warned you. And he shushes you out the door and he looks one more time and he goes, I warned you. And he slams the door in your face.
John shouts out as he slams the door.
Oh wow, who needs you?
Some church you got there, Saul.
My church. First off, John.
I think
I
with
have
that, I'd like to end the episode. Unless there's anything else anybody would like to do or say, I think that's a nice point for us to pick up from next week.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
No, nobody else wants to do anything. Well, in that case, I would like to thank everybody for watching. I'd like to thank all of you for playing. It's been a fantastic session. I had lots and lots of fun. I hope everybody had fun too. Hope all of the viewers enjoyed. If you're not, please give us a follow. We're still trying to get the 50 followers. Yay! And we'll see you next week with the next episode, Facing the Frontier. Goodbye, everybody, and good
Thank
luck
you.
on all your future quests.
Woo-hoo.